With all the internet and YouTube tutorials I've done in the past, I've just concentrated on teaching basic Thai, and I've gone up to a level of reading signs and menus. That in itself is useful. If you can just walk into a restaurant and read the menu on the table or on the wall, that's very useful. With signs you can get a lot of information, and if you can read directions and destinations, it's also very useful. But what if you want to progress beyond that level? What if you want to start reading books and newspapers and magazines? Now those things will be very useful to be able to read, but it's very difficult. Going from not being able to read any Thai at all to being able to read signs and menus is one jump. Going from that level to books, magazines and newspapers is another jump, and it's just as big. It's very, very difficult for reasons I will explain in this video. I do buy Thai books, and there are two reasons for doing that. The first is so that I can practice reading at a higher level, and secondly, I want to learn something. For example, with this book, I want to learn more about the Thai sense of humour and what makes Thais laugh. I've always been keen on trying to understand the Thai value and belief systems, which are very different to Western value and belief systems. Thais are very superstitious, into astrology, and many Thais visit fortune tellers. They believe that anything in the future can be foretold in the present. So when I saw this book, I was quite interested because I thought it might be able to teach me a little bit more about how Thais think. It's called Phan Bok Anakot, Dreams Tell the Future. I'm also interested in Thai herbal medicine, and although it will be easier to buy a book written in English, I couldn't find a book specifically about Thai herbal medicine in English. So the only alternative was to buy one in Thai and then attempt to read it myself. Now, it's one thing being able to read written Thai words and pronounce them sort of roughly correctly. It's another to understand their meaning. And my Thai vocabulary is based around conversational Thai, which is quite limited and quite informal. And obviously, once you attempt to read books like this, you start to encounter a lot of scientific terms and vocabulary that you're just not familiar with. This is another book that I saw when I was browsing in a bookshop, and it looked very interesting. And as far as I know, there is no English version. But there's a big problem with the vocabulary, and that's even before you open the book. Quartet Jing, facts, Gilgup, about, Garani, case, and then the next word I didn't know, Suwanakot. The word Suwanakot means to die, death, but because the book is about a previous Thai king, it uses the royal vocabulary. As I said in a previous video, Thai is like several different languages, and when you're speaking normal, everyday, conversational Thai, it's quite informal. You use informal vocabulary. When you read a newspaper, book or magazine or watch TV, they use more formal vocabulary. And then right at the top, you've got the royal vocabulary. So if you're just living in Thailand, just speaking some Thai, you'll become familiar with the informal vocabulary, but you won't necessarily know much formal vocabulary or royal vocabulary. So I did a quick search on Google for Thai terms for death and came up with these, and there are actually more. And the three that I've highlighted in red are the ones that I hear and use. So Thai, and then we use euphemisms in death to make death less harsh. Like we do in English with pass away and pass on. So sia and sia chi wit. The thing about Thai is that it's done to a much greater extent than English. And with English, we might have different verbs and adjectives to say basically the same thing with a different level of formality. With Thai, that applies to nouns as well. So to be able to read newspapers, books, magazines, more formal Thai, If your knowledge of Thai vocabulary is based on conversation, where you've just learnt the informal vocabulary, you need to learn a huge amount more vocabulary. And that's what makes this jump to the next level really difficult. Another problem I've found with formal Thai is the grammar structure. And with conversational Thai, the grammar structure tends to be very, very simple. You know, by nai, like go where, and that's it. That's the complete sentence. With formal Thai, I've tried to help my kids with schoolwork before, and I've read sentences, and although I understand the meaning of every word in the sentence, I haven't been able to figure out the meaning of the sentence. So, you know, with more formal Thai, the grammar structure, that changes as well. Another thing that's helped me to get beyond the level of signs and menus is helping my kids with their schoolwork. And don't feel ashamed that the material you're trying to read is a material aimed at very young Thai kids of 6, 7 and 8. They're immersed in a totally Thai environment at school, and their brains are like sponges and perfect for learning languages. I've been at this game for about 19 years, and already my kids, who are now 11 and 8, have overtaken me. It's just one of those things. I know someone who thought it would be a good idea to learn Thai to sit in with classes of very young kids, 6, 7, 8, but she soon realised that she just couldn't keep up with them. Books aimed at Thai children are actually very good for foreigners learning Thai. Regarding the adult material, if it's something light-hearted and jokey, like some of the books I showed you earlier, that's fine. But if it's a serious subject and you're only at the level of being able to read signs and menus, it's going to be just too difficult. I'll just go through the first paragraph of this kid's text, see if you can follow. And then if you want some more practice, just stop the video and try to read the rest. So, one nung, like one day. Nai chuang is like inside the period. This word here, term, is an English word that's been transliterated into Thai. Term, school term, semester, as Americans would say. And pit term, so when the school term is closed, so basically the school holidays, one day in the school holidays. Kawi, Prida, Mina, La, Charlie, so they're the 4 kids involved, that's their names. And La means and, but it's never used in spoken Thai, it's only used in written Thai, sort of, you know, more formal Thai. So these 4 kids, by Ok Gamlang Gai. Ok Gamlang Gai is exercise. They go by a goal, they go for exercise. Ti Suan Sa Tarana. Ti at Suan has many meanings in Thai. It can mean plantation, orchard, garden. Satarana is public, so this is actually a public park. So these 4 kids go for exercise in a public park. Now the next part is quite formal. You know, already at 7 years old, they're teaching the kids quite formal Thai. And if I had to translate, I wouldn't use this term. I'd use the informal term. So me, pu, kon, mak mai. So basically, have people a lot. There are a lot of people. Now, if I was translating like a lot of people, I would have just said kon ye rather than pu, kon, mak mai. But as I say, with written text in Thai, it tends to be quite formal. But this gets the kids sort of learning the formal vocabulary at a very young age, so when they get older, they don't have the same problems that Farangs have. Ma ok Gamlang Gai. So all these people at the park come to do exercise. Tini, like here, tuk chow, every morning. Bang glum ram muay jin. So bang glum, some groups. Ram is dance. Muay is boxing, like Muay Thai, Thai boxing. and Jean is Chinese. So they dance boxing in Chinese dance boxing, and what I think this is Tai Chi, but I didn't realise what the Thai term for it was. Banglum, some groups, Dan aerobic. So Dan is like to dance, and aerobic is another English word that's been transliterated into Thai. And in Thailand, you see lots of aerobic, but public aerobic groups every morning and every evening. It's very, very popular with the Thais. Banglum, some groups, Pan Chakrayan. Okay, some groups ride bicycles. And if we're riding an animal or a motorbike, we use the word ki motorcycle. With bicycles, the Thais use the word ban, which I think sort of means to pedal. Like pan is like to swirl, to sort of twirl, make something go round. Banglum wing or gamlangai. So wing to run or gamlangai exercise. That's basically jogging. Ti suan satarana at the public park. Heng Ni at this public park. Aga di, good weather. Let and mi ton mai. There are trees. Rom run, which is a word I don't really hear in conversational Thai. It just means shady. So there are trees that provide shade. Okay, so that was the first paragraph. Please excuse any pronunciation and tone errors of mine. And if you want to do some more practice, stop the video and read on. So to summarise, because sometimes people do ask me for recommendations, what to read to get to the next level. And anything aimed at young Thai children is good. It will challenge you a bit, but it won't be too difficult. With adult material, try to choose stuff that is, fairly short stories or things like that joke book, and also subjects that interest you. If something can hold your interest, it's going to be a lot easier to get through. If you choose a book that's got very difficult vocabulary, very difficult grammar structure, and it's also subjects that you're not interested in, it's going to get really tedious. Please leave any comments or questions below. Let me know what you think, and more videos soon.